Welcome back to another daily recap for Wednesday, July 31, 2024. I'm Sam Morton, and currently it's 8:11 a.m. And what you're looking at is yesterday's price action. Just want to point out one more thing that I did not mention yesterday before I transfer the levels over to this chart for today. I've already done the work. Is that while there was a pretty big issue with this 543.55 after 3:30, which is when I don't like to take trades, this is a perfect recycle trade. They hit this level, so it doesn't look like it's important here. Just pointing out that they just don't, these levels don't just come out of thin air. There's some math behind it. So this level worked. I don't like to take trades after 3:30, and this was 3:50 p.m. Eastern, but that worked. A lot of volatility. And just also to point out that maybe I can show you the futures in a minute. After the regular session closed, the futures dropped quite a bit. And I even had this thought that, well, it's not the type of play I would normally make, but thought they're going to come back up to 545 at some point by Wednesday. So is that worth the gamble of buying where they were really low, like, I don't know, 90 points or so down last night, and riding it all the way up overnight? Because that's exactly what the futures did. Let's just take a look at that right now. I just turned on the after market hours. So after the SPY, after the market closed, the SPY closed down here somewhere at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. The futures even fell a little bit lower. And then that's where I was looking at this sometime around 5 o'clock or 4:30, 5 o'clock. And if I had bought there, it never happened, so I can't claim any victory on that. But they did what I thought would happen. There's like an 80 or 90% chance they were going to come up close to this 545.65, because that's where they're going to be fighting today. At least that's my opinion, especially with the FOMC market at 2 p.m. But anyway, that's what they did. So they were down here somewhere. What is this? Around 538 or so. And they were almost 100 points. They kind of topped out right here. The futures pushed them up all night long, and that would have been a pretty sweet trade. But anyway, let's just transfer the actual levels for today. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, here are the official levels for today. Again, it's Wednesday, July 31st, 8:16 a.m. Market opens in an hour and 15 minutes or so. So they are above this level of 545.65. That was the opening of the month of July on the SPY chart. Want them to close at or near this level, possibly below. So they're above right now. They've climbed all the way up to 547.82 currently in the pre-market. As we just mentioned, a lot of push in the futures overnight. In any case, we'll come back to this chart after the market closes and talk about what price did in the SPY and whether it was prudent to take trades. So we'll catch you after the market closes. And we're back at 7:30 p.m. Market's closed, obviously. So we did not get the monthly close that I hoped for, but no big deal. We did get two levels that the spiders hit. And let's get in a little bit closer, take a look at what happened in terms of the trades. I'll adjust the levels. We'll come right back. So these two levels, pretty obvious. These are the only ones the spiders hit. And so where were they after 9:45? If you're playing by the rules only, then you would have taken a short trade coming as price was coming back up into 548.50, and they pulled down to give a base hit here. So that's strictly playing by the rules. I was expecting a little bit more volatility today, so I was holding out for like 6 or I think it was 7 points, and they did not get the 7 points, and they went up, and so I kind of paid the price by reversing. You'll see this. I recorded the trade today. This next level at 550.77 would have been another short trade. They were out of the money a little bit, but definitely came back for base hits. So 2 base hits. That's all there was. And now, so when you take a trade, so this was a short trade here, and they get above, I'm okay to take that again on the other side. I'm not going to take 2 short trades. In other words, they bounce down and they come back up again. It might work, but I don't necessarily trust it the second time or third time. However, they get above and come back down, then I would call that a recycle trade. Well, it was 548.55, so I would adjust this to 548.60, add 5 cents on the other side, but they came up within pennies. Or they came within pennies, 548.66. So that's a near miss on the recycle trades. You can't count that. Would not have been a trade. And you can see how they respected both of these levels. Definitely this level all day long, and closed pretty far distance above 545.65. So it didn't get the clean signal in the monthly chart, but it's okay. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and take a look at the trade that, or the multiple trades that I did. I'm going to start playing this. I recorded the entire day. So it's 9:45 at this point, and you can see me putting a limit order to go short with 1 contract. I was a little bit kind of conservative this morning, thinking I'll go ahead and take a trade early on, but I kind of got stuck in this trade, as you'll see. So the idea was I would sell one, take a quick base hit, but I thought they would move around more. So instead of 4 points, I went for 7, I guess this is 7 points. And they gave a base hit of 4 points easily enough within a few minutes, but not enough for 7 points. And once they got above the fumble threshold, which is the red line, I just had to wait this one out. And I'll show you what I did. Let's just go ahead and scrub ahead. You see it get out of the money, still short, and they're out of the money. And I reversed about right here. So gave some points back, a fair amount of points back to the market right here, like 16 or so points. And now I'm long. And what I did is I put an order, you see it flash across the screen right there, to go short with 2 contracts right at 550.80, I believe I put, just kind of adjusted it just a couple pennies. And the idea being that I would get rid of the one contract I'm long with whatever profit that gave me, and then I'd be short one. So that's exactly what happened. So I'll scrub ahead so you can see that. I got up to 550.80, orders triggered. Now I'm short one. So I put a target down here just before they would get back to this other level again. But then I ended up, as they bounced around this level for a long time, up and down. And what I end up doing is adding to the position when they came back up into it at a later point. I think it was right about, you'll see it when it happens. So then I was short 2, so effectively at the same point, like pretty much at the level. Because I knew there would be some resistance up here at some point. So here we go, back up. So here I went short, just sold at the market again. So now I'm short 2 at the same level. That way I was able to adjust. Once I did that, I was able to adjust my profit target. I'd already moved it a little bit, just trying to be more conservative. So now I have 2 contracts. Figure, well, I'll just take one off. Well, that's 2 off at 10 points. So it'd be $1,000, and that would clear all the loss I had initially and then some. But what I did as they started coming down is I just went ahead and took one off. And I do this oftentimes when I feel like they might get more movement. So if you saw that, I took one off for half that, so it was $500. And set a target down here at 1,100. I think I moved that later for 1,000, just to keep track of some easier numbers, because it's ahead of my other level. I'm not sure if they're going to bounce at this point or not, because think about it. At this point here, it's 130. They still have time. I'm expecting them hopefully to come all the way down and close around 545.65, as I've been saying. Of course, that did not happen, but what they did do is give me the $1,000 in the other position. So ended the day in the green pretty well, $1,012.50 to be exact, before commissions. And I kept recording. So here's another zone I put up here after the fact, just identified this in real time between essentially 553 and then about 70 something cents above that. And as it turned out, that's where they met overhead resistance. I didn't take the trade there. I just kind of zoomed in a little bit, adjusted the chart, and that was the high of the day. And it came all the way down quite a bit, and I was looking for them to go lower. Didn't happen. But I'm happy with what I got, and playing by the rules certainly would have been the easier route to take instead of babysitting that trade for many hours that I had to do. But I'm not complaining. I'll take the 20-something points that I got. Over here on the tracking log, I have made some updates. So I have 2 outputs. The PBR, no, that's not Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's playing by the rules. This little acronym here. So that's the output of playing by the rules. So as we already saw, here's the 2 levels, 4 points each for a total of 8 points. And you can see the total for the day. And before I go over to the personal trades, I'm going to keep track of 2 different trades, 2 different logs like I've been doing. Just to point out here that the levels are identified with L's. That should be straightforward. Levels L1 through L9. I rarely get more than 9 levels on a day. Performance, is a base hit, as a fumble, is a TKO, technical knockout. Here is the legend for all that. I'm color coding everything. This is the overall profit and loss, essentially days ending above 0, days ending below 0. And this is taking into account everything, all of 2022, 23, and 24 up to this point. So I can kind of zoom in and slice and dice some of this to get more detail. And also added this here. So this is essentially the same as like days ending in the green or red. It's with the data we have, which is 400 and 500 something days worth of trades. This is the total base hits, total days with base hits, total days with fumbles, total days with TKOs. And so if I were to look at, say, 2024 and say June, which is a pretty decent month, and we'll just go up and find out where that ends right here. And you can see, there's the profit and loss for just the month of June of 2024. And then we compare it to the personal trades. Let's go 24 June, and control page up just to get to where it's at. And now you have a pretty good month. I hope these numbers make sense. You can see the totals. This is quantity of ES contracts traded at each level, 1 through 10, and then the daily totals, and then of course the grand total for this period. And you can take these numbers and divide them by however many micro ES contracts to understand. Like if you're trading 3 micros, then it's a third of this, if that makes sense, because each ES is 10 micros. So that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for tuning into this recap. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'd appreciate that. So before the opening bell tomorrow morning, I'll have new levels on the board, and we'll do this all over again. Thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.